Hi guys, welcome again to Youth Mentorship Training, and this is for those of you who have kids who are teaching kids that are totally destructive. They're just frustrating you, they're disruptive in classes. And today we are looking at the complaints that teachers are having, right? What do teachers have to say? What are the challenges they're experiencing? So let's get right into it. Some of the complaints, of course, some of them would tell them what they're teaching, some of them won't. But we're looking at their complaints and, of course, what is really going on behind the scenes. All right. We're not going to go through all, we're just going to do some of them. All right. So let's start with the first one. This teacher is saying it's challenging to teach effectively when there are constant disruptions in the classroom. Right. That's the complaint they have. Very, very challenging to teach because the kids are just disrupting the classes. Right. Now, in this case, we are seeing the teachers feeling frustrated and stressed when there are troublesome kids disrupting the class environment, the learning environment, right? It's making it difficult for them to deliver lessons, for them to, and other students to learn or to focus. It's very, very challenging. And that's also because of the system that they're teaching in. That can be very frustrating because you as a teacher, you are trying to do your best, you're prepared your lessons, and you're really trying to get the work done. You're trying to cover your curriculum. You're trying to get the kids to learn, to move from one level to the next, to be able to move, advance in class. You're caring about their future, and they're not concerned. So that can be very, very painful, very frustrating, because you're not able to complete what you're supposed to do in the time that you want to complete it. And then the system you're working in may not give you much tools or much support to discipline the children, discipline the kids. Right? So really, really difficult challenge there. Here's another complaint from another teacher. I worry about the safety of my students and the safe and myself. Now, this teacher is worried about the safety of the students, the kids, and themselves, right? When they're violating situations, volatile situations in the classroom. Volatile situations could be noise. It could be temper tantrums being thrown. And everybody's on edge. And it's like on the edge of going towards from this being disruptive to violent. And that it could be very painful. The teacher feels very exhausted and concerned about the safety, right? Because everyone in the classroom, when confronted with aggression or violent behavior, with troublesome kids, it moves is very, very challenging, very problematic. And most of this is because of the system, as I said before. It is very because there is no, if this is something that's continuous, you don't have a guard or someone standing in the room to oversee, to see that, hey, the class is being done properly, or that children will disrupt the class. And this is because of the system, right? So I'm really sympathetic with you that this is really something that there's not much you can do about that, and it's very frustrating, but it's a system that you have that's really, really causing this to continue, right? Another complaints, dealing with troublesome kids day in and day out is emotionally draining. And yes, it is. And it's so emotional draining that you can't find even time for yourself and your family, right? This is where a teacher is experiencing emotional exhaustion, right? From constant managing challenging behavior, of course, leading to feelings of burnout and fatigue. So you have a burnout teacher, a fatigue teacher who can perform in the classroom, but where he came from was trying to deal with the emotional challenges of working with troublesome kids, right? I'm really, really, really sympathetic with this. This is very challenging because it's draining, and even of your family, and you might yourself might have kids, and you can't find the time to be with them and to really show them the love and attention you want to. So it's draining for you, and it's so important to have a support system to deal with this. But these are things we work with schools. If the school need help in that area, we come up with innovative ideas of getting around those things so that the teacher benefit. All right. Here's another complaint from another teacher. I don't have enough time or resources to adequately address the needs of troublesome kids. Wow. So because the teacher is focused on teaching, be frustrated because of lack of time, lack of support, lack of resources available to them to effectively manage or even support the troubled students, the kids who are given problems. They're not equipped to deal with it, right? Of course, this is leading to a feeling of helplessness and inadequacy, a feeling inadequate, like you're not enough, you're not being enough, you're not doing enough. Some schools, what I realize are doing, and they're shortchanging a lot of the students because of this, is that they do minimal work and then they have private classes. So in the private class, you have to, as a kid in the private class, they have to back up, they have to pay attention, or else they have the authority in that private lesson to get rid of them. But that's shortchanging, and that's why we need our administrators, or school education department to really see the problem, realize that as a teacher, you're not a psychologist. You don't have the equipment to deal with that kind of stuff, but you're expert in your field. Come to teach. So I'm really sympathetic with this. Again, it's emotionally draining, and you feel really helpless about it, right? And I really hope that you reach out to us so we can really help with that. There's another complaint. Troublesome kids often prevent me from providing quality instructions to all students. Wow. Troublesome kids preventing, right, the provision of quality instruction, quality teaching. Disruptions in the class again. You can't focus. The students can't focus. You can't get the lessons done properly. All right. And of course, the teacher here is expressing frustration because of the negative impact of troublesome kids. You know, what it has on the ability to provide quality instruction. And you would have prepared your lesson. You'd have known that, hey, what I prepared is going to get them to another level. It's really going to help them. But you can't meet the needs of the students because of the disruptions, right? Because of the troublesome kids in the class. And this is very frustrating, right? Another complaint, communicating with parents or troublesome kids can be challenging and frustrating. So even trying to connect with parents and kids, even the parents sometimes don't understand the problems that the teacher have to go through, right? So here is a teacher expressing a feeling of stress and overwhelmed, and on the verge of burnout, right? When trying to communicate with parents to show them, hey, your kids are giving trouble. This is what's happening. And it's so important to have that parent and teachers connection. Some countries have PTAs, where you can meet with together and discuss really the problems. Most of times, when teachers try to show this, they're met with defensiveness, denial, hostility from parents, because parents don't want to admit, hey, my child is really in trouble, is giving problems. So what sometimes is needed, that's why we need the collaboration between the youth worker and the parent, because and then the collaboration between the youth worker and the parent and the teacher needs to be anonymous, or what you call spontaneous intervention, not planned intervention. Because you see, the thing is, when as a youth worker, you plan to visit a parent, the parent could put everything down, look at perfect when you're present. Make sure all the kids are behaving themselves and all that sort of thing for the 1 hour that you're there. That's not enough. You need to be able to see and experience it in the real world, and that's what's needed. Where youth workers are able to visit the homes spontaneously, just to show up, just say hi, and it's showing up, they're able to experience what is happening. Right? We really need to get to work on this. Another complaint from another teacher: I worry about the well-being and future of troublesome kids, but they feel limited. I feel limited that I can't help. How I can help them? They don't know how to help. Right? This is a teacher expressing genuine concern for the well-being. Of course, the future prospects of troublesome kids, and of course, they feel frustrated that the inability to their personal inability to provide the level of support, the level of intervention that they believe is necessary. It is very difficult for them to do it because they weren't trained, they're not equipped. And that is why we have these youth mentorship training. So we can equip parents, equip teachers, how to deal with troublesome kids. How do you interact and intervene? How do you connect with them and get them to change their perspective, their beliefs, their behaviors, their customs, their habits, their attitudes? How do you get them to do that? Right? That's what the whole youth mentorship training is about. All right, so really get in touch with us. Here's another complaint. I sometimes feel like I'm failing as a teacher because I can't reach or help troublesome kids. Wow. This is a teacher who's really, really caring, right? This teacher is experiencing feeling of inadequacy, self-doubt, self-doubt in their own self, in their own ability, when they struggle to effectively manage or support troublesome kids, right? Of course, leading to a sense of professional frustration. Like if all of my work and all that I've tried and all I've learned, like nothing works, all right? Get in touch with us. That is all I can say. Get in touch with us. It's not easy, but there is a way. There is a way to connect with the youths, with those kids. Let's help each other out. All right. Here's another complaint again from another teacher. Troublesome kids can disrupt the entire school community, affecting morale and cohesion. Yeah. The small bunch, the old saying, the one apple that spoils the whole bunch. Sometimes that one person causes something to happen in the community or in the city, and the whole school get blamed. Wow, that could be very challenging. And it's so important for teachers, for the schools to protect themselves and making sure that they have heroes in the schools. And this one bad apple doesn't doesn't turn everything upside down for them, right? But I mean, the broad impact, not just for the classroom, but for the whole school, is real. I mean, decreased morale, strained relationships among staff and students. These are real stuff that can take place. I hear you. I hear you. It's real, all right? But it really needs to come from the system and the school need to change to really get that done, to change that whole system. Here's another complaint from another teacher. I wish I had more training. Of course, training and support to effectively manage challenging behaviors in the classroom. Yep. I agree with you. You feel ill-equipped, again, to handle the complex needs of troublesome kids due to lack of specialized training or support, leading to feelings of frustration and overwhelm. Now, yes, you can go and you can do some psychology course. Yes, you can. You can do some psychiatry. You can do some counseling. All right. But why we use mentorship is because we realize mentorship is the most effective way to influence kids. It's more influence than sociology, psychology, more influential than support groups and counseling. Because what happens is that as a mentor, you are taking the students under your wings to care for them and show them who you are as a real person. As a matter of fact, I remember there was this lady who at the university, one of the things she did, and another gentleman also I'll tell you about. This lady, what she did, she took her classroom outside the class and she had people sit down on the lawn and she taught there under the trees. Right? She took them for outings and she would teach at the outings. Watch that. She won best teacher of the year. Really good. There's this other teacher, lecturer, really, really awesome guy. What he used to do, he used to carry well, this was just kids now, this university level. He would take them now to a weekend outing. Right? Weekend outing, camp out, right? And you carry everything, things to cook and everything like that. And in the camp, there is training going on, lessons going on. And he will also create games, right? Gamification is a big thing that helps. But a lot of these things are very good in equipping you as a teacher to influence youths, right? And we incorporate some of those things in our training, youth mentorship training, how to use games, how to use different innovative ways of influencing youths. Of course, starting with the foundation of being able to ask questions properly. All right, very, very important. All right. Okay, here's this one. I can't teach effectively when students are constantly disrupting the class. Okay, I think I might be going backward here. Let's do the behavior, emotional drain. All right, let's see. Communicating with parents and their child behavior can be challenging and stressful. I think we dealt with that. All right. Okay, right. All right, so we dealt with that as well. Okay, I wish I had more training. Okay, that's the last one we did. Okay, so here are some now teachers who are give us some information about themselves. Like this high school English teacher who said, it's like it's like talking to a wall sometimes. Wow. They just shut down, tune me out, and I can't seem to reach them. Yeah. If you don't learn to influence, you can't teach. If you can just give information, but you really have to learn to influence. That's the big thing with kids. You have to learn to be an influence because it's like a wall, right? You're so right. You're really right. Here's this one. Middle school math teacher. I see the potential in them, but they're constantly pushing buttons, testing boundaries, and it feels like I'm feeling them. Wow, this is so true. Yeah, some kids are like that. They want to see your weakness, your weak points, And you have to be able, and that's why it's so important to get the classroom as being real. I remember many years ago, around 2008, 9, somewhere around there, I was training some lecturers, university lecturers, how to reach university students, because the big problem was the big complaints the teachers had were, the lecturers had were, the students aren't learning, they aren't listening, they aren't learning. So what I did in my presentation, I had a picture of an old classroom and an old library to show what the library was like then in their days when they were studying. And then I had a picture of the new learning environment, which was outdoors, and the new library, which was students sitting down in the cafeteria with laptops plugged in. That was 2008, 2009, right? That's a long time, right? But hey, that's the challenge. They were trying to teach students or influence students who were living in a different world. And they were putting these presentations up with these long paragraphs, like a whole page on a slideshow, trying to teach students. You can't communicate with kids like that, with students at university level that way. Come on. Now it's worse. It's tweet. It's emojis. You had to change it. All right. The thing about it is that they're gonna push buttons. They're gonna test you to see, are you for real? Are you in the real world? Yeah. Are you in the past? They're gonna test it, and you have to get into their environment and listen to them and see what's happening, and then you have the right to speak and communicate and share. All right, but it's real. It's real. Okay, here is this elementary school teacher. She says, I put in countless hours planning engaging lessons, but it's all overshadowed by one student's disruptive outbursts. It's incredibly discouraging by one student. Imagine that. You have a class of 10, 20 maybe, and one student disrupting the class. That's a lack of influence. It's real. Because you see what happened? If you focus on influence first, you get most of the students on your side. That you don't even have to discipline the class. The students will discipline the class. They will shut down that student. Yeah, I've seen it happen. It's real, right? So it makes your work easier, all right? All right, here's this one. Special education teacher. I get pulled between trying to maintain order and actually teaching the material. Pulled, right? It feels like I'm constantly playing referee, not an educator. I tell you. And if you deal with special education kids, it's more work because you have to use a lot of innovative ways to get across to them, for them to understand, because they're all over the place. Their minds are distracted by every little thing. So you have to learn how to get that focus. All right? Is it because teaching is not like what it used to be? You can't teach the way it used to be. And of course, the system needs to understand that as well. Right? There's some terms given to the education system. I won't use them here. Right? Here's this high school counselor. There's this counselor, right? Not a teacher now. High school counselor. He said the pressure from parents and administrators can be intense. They expect instant solutions, but these situations are complex and take time. Yeah, they take time. Especially if you're not dealing with them from the root cause. Okay? It's like trying to help a kid whose life at home is one of destruction and disruption. And they flourish in that environment. and you are trying to have a peaceful classroom in order, and it's like chaos. Yeah, that's real, right? It's intense because they're expecting instant, they expect magic, and they need to get to the program. No. The root cause of this don't take magic. You can't deal with the problem from the surface. You have to go down deep. And that's, and as counselors or trainers, we have to be able to explain to the powers that be, the authorities. We have to explain to them that concept. Use analogies, use parables. Like for example, I use an analogy of, if there's a crack on the wall, how are you going to solve it? If you find there's a big crack happening on your wall in your office, how you think the contractor is going to solve that crack? Think he's going to come, do some nice plastering, block up the wall, sand it down all nice, and then paint it over and say, hey, you're fixed. One day, it's done. If that contractor does that, fire the contractor immediately. Because you see, but the thing is, that is what a lot of administrators want, that instant fix, but it's not. Because you see, the thing is, in the next week or two or month or two, that crack is going to come back, or it's going to come back another place. Because the problem is not the wall. The problem is something on the foundation, right? That's causing the crack, right? So you have to use analogies, use these different things to show them this is not a quick fix. Let me show you why it's not a quick fix. Let me show you or here's another example. You ask someone, or administrator, parent, whatever it is, you ask them, okay, what are you, right-handed or left-handed? Okay, they say right-handed. Okay, your hand is damaged. So can I wrap this around your hand? Wrap a kerchief or something on a towel, something around your hand. I want to wrap this around your right hand. Now I want you to start using your left hand for the rest of the day. Just for the day, just your left hand, not your right hand as your main hand. Just use your right hand as a support, but your main hand is your left hand today. Tell me what's going to happen. It's like, of course not. Exactly. Why not? Why you can't just start to use your left hand as your main hand? Because I'm accustomed to using my right hand. Exactly. It's not a fake fix. You're accustomed, right? Now, yes, we can help solve the problem, but the solution takes time. It takes a while to get accustomed to start using your right hand. It's like the student accustomed to chaos, disruption, trouble, problems, right? They're accustomed to that. For them to be disciplined, orderly, whatever it is you're trying to get to, that will take time, all right? Of course. So that's some of the answers you could use. Okay, here's another complaint from a science teacher. She says, I worry about other students in the class. Their learning suffers when one student takes up so much attention and energy. And you see, because of this, a lot of people have opted to create private classes where the parents have to pay now. Instead of going to public school, where you might not have to pay, you go there, but then you still have to go to evening classes. So a lot of teachers do that so they can actually get the work done, and the students benefit more. So why is it that if they benefit more from the private class instead of the public class? Because in the private class, the teacher is in control, and the teacher can tell you get out, right? In this public system, the teacher can't tell you get out because you have a right to be there as a kid, right? But what happens though is that the powers that be, the administrators, principals, they need to get to the program and say, hey, this person is in charge of this class. If you cannot be here, she has the power, the authority to get you out of here. That's the system that you need to get. But not only get you out, but get you out and get you into an area where you need help. Not just get you out of the school, no, because that's just going to create chaos. But get you into a zone where you need help, where there must be a place where disruptive students are being taught or helped, being involved in activities to help deal with the behavior and the attitude, right? Not send them out of the school, but get them there. So it is very helpful for administrators to deal with this, because it's destroying the learning ability of the other students, or the ability of other students to be able to finish their work, because of the amount of energy and attention this teacher have to place on this one or sometimes two students who's giving problems, right? So I hear you. It's real. It's real. History teacher is saying the constant negativity, defiance, and even aggression drain me emotionally. It's hard to stay positive and motivated in that environment. And that is why a lot of teachers are looking to get out. They're not motivated to stay there because the system is not helping them to get out of to get the transformation that they want. So that is why we are, as I say, that is why we have this mentorship training program. So you can stay in the system and influence the kids from inside the classroom. There's a way to do it. Okay? Yeah, because of course not. You can't be motivated in a system like that. It's destructive. It's destroying. It's draining, right? With that kind of aggression and distance, and it's encouraged, right? Because you can't just tell a student like that to behave because you have been doing that, telling them, but that's not enough, and you realize it doesn't work. And the pause that we know it doesn't work, but it's a deception, all right? And we know that, okay? So here's the next question. Here's another complaint from another art teacher. He's an art teacher. He's saying, in some cases, I've even feared for my safety, like another teacher above, right? Or the safety of other students. It is scary feeling that should be part of the job. How could you're going to a job that you enjoy, but instead of having fun or enjoying it, you're being afraid, you're scared for yourself and for the other kids. Because somebody in the class, some kid in the class, one or two, giving problems that could cause destruction, that could cause harm to others. And that harm could be violent, right? So let's work together to help with this, to get rid of that fear. Okay, miss? All right. Here's another English teacher. Witnessing their struggles and knowing I can't fix everything weighs heavily on me. Seeing their struggles and knowing that he cannot fix it weighs heavily on him. It's hard to leave work at work when you carry these concerns with you. As a loving, caring teacher, yeah, it is very difficult to just leave it there because you enjoy teaching. You want to see your kids progress and become something in the world. You know, you have this dream of what they can become, but it's very challenging, very scary, and as you really said, it's hard to leave work at work. You come home with it, and it causes you destruction even in your family. It causes you distraction. You're distracted by it. You can't focus on your family, all right? And of course, that have a lot of consequences, right? Rippling effects. Here is this science teacher. I feel inadequately equipped to handle these complex situations. More training and support specifically for challenging behaviors would be invaluable. Yes, I agree. This is why we have the Training for Reigning program to help you becoming adequately equipped. No longer inadequate, but adequately equipped. All right? This elementary school teacher is saying smaller class sizes, access to counselors, and collaboration with social workers and would make a world of difference in managing these challenges. Yes, greater collaboration, smaller classes, right? Access to these people, connecting them together where we're working together. But you need to collaborate with the parent as well. Because see, the thing is, it comes from home. It doesn't come from the school, it comes from home. So not just the counselors, not just the social workers, but the parents must be involved. All right? Here is a complaint from this maths teacher. A sense of community and understanding from colleagues and administrators is crucial. You're so right. And she's saying we need to feel supported and not blamed when dealing with these issues. That is so true. You see, the thing is, a lot of seniors, administrators, principals, and so forth, grew up in an era where when a teacher says something, they just obey. But they haven't faced the challenges as yet. They haven't really been there. So one of the things I remember, what is a good thing to a principal to do is to go into the class sometime and sit. Let's go into the class and sit. You know, it's like this show they used to have on cable called Boss. It's called Undercover Boss, right? They go in the class and sit, but you don't have to be undercover. You are the principal. You're sitting in the class just to see what the class is like. Yeah, you've seen it for yourself, right? It's so important to do it, right? Do it more and do it spontaneously. Even stand up outside and listen sometimes without the students seeing you. You see, these things are needed for them to understand, for you as an administrator to understand the real problem. So as a teacher, talk to your administrators. Hey, from time to time, come down to my classroom and let's stand up outside and listen. Let's come down and let's listen. That's all. And then you tell me, all right? Bring the counselors, bring the parents, come and sit down outside. Stand up outside and just listen. You don't need to come in, right? Right? You can do that without anybody seeing. It really helps. All right. So these are some of the challenges that we're having that we need to really deal with as teachers. We are having these challenges, and we are here to help. It's painful. It's frustrating. You hear the frustration. You hear the pain. You hear the hopelessness, the helplessness of these teachers, that they're trying their best and they wish that something could be done from the administrative level, from the parental level, something, some way, from the ministry level, department level, of education level. All of these areas have passed the play in helping our kids get over the challenging period of their lives, and of course being able to influence them, and so that they can transform their lives and become responsible, respectful leaders, righteous leaders, royal leaders, productive leaders in society. Very important, because we need it. We need them. We need them as a future generation. So let's work together, connect. Let's go through some of the training, see what it's like if you're really interested, and let me know what help you need. Let's get some more questions out coming to us. Ask some questions, send some concerns, and let's hear what you have to say. All right, I hope this really helped, and of course I hope you could connect and identify with some of the pain and the frustration and the problems and the challenges these teachers are having, so you could really understand that, hey, there is hope and there is help. Bless you.